Hello and welcome back, guys. So in today's video we are going to improve on the social media website kind of a thing we built in one of our previous videos. So now we're going to improve it using the knowledge of loops. So over here I have pre-created some stuff. We have a variable called database. Database is a list of objects that has username and passwords. Then we have a variable called status updates, that has username and statuses. This is for after you have logged in, what do you see? And then of course we have two variables called sign in prompt and password prompt, which you know ask you the minute you enter the website, like, hey, put in your password and put in your username. Now we're going to start creating functions that can use all of these things that we have pre-created. So now you can use this stuff from our last video, or you can make it again. Just the thing is that I've added 3 users over here so that we can loop through them. So now thinking about it, first function we will need, you would think, is obviously a sign in function, right? And that sign in function is going to take obviously a username, and it's going to take a password, and then just like we created last time. But if you check our last function, we wrote a code that said something like, if the database 0, because this is the first object, right? So it's 0, then 1, then 2. So we wrote like, if database 0.username is equals to username and database 0.password is equals to password, or then we did the same thing for the first one, then we did the same thing for the second one. Obviously, if it's a real social media website, it will have millions of users, so no way you can write this a code in such a way, like if the username bracket 1001 equals to username and then password. There is no way. So you need to make a dynamic code that can just filter through all of the users you have and then give you a result. So basically, in simple terms, what I'm trying to say is you need a function first before signing in. You need a function that checks if the user even exists, if this user is correct, if this user is actually valid. So we're going to create a function to check that. That function will be called, let's call it, is user correct? No, is user valid? I guess that's better. Okay. Now this function is again going to take a username that you will give, and then it's going to take password. And then what it's going to do is it's going to do a for loop. So you remember the syntax for loop, variable I equals to 0, then, well, not comma, semicolon. Okay, and I is always less than database dot length, and then we want to keep adding, incrementing until we finally find our answer. And then what we wanted to do is, this loop is if, we're going to say if database, then now we're going to use I instead of that 1, 2, 3, whatever. It's going to keep incrementing, so we're going to use I. If database I dot username is equal to the username we give, and whoops, where is and oh, if database I dot password is equals to the password we give, then usually you would think that I'm going to write like, okay, if it's correct, just console.log over here. But no, we're not going to do that because it creates many errors. So we're going to keep them separate. This function is just going to check if it's correct or if it is not correct. So if this thing is correct, in that case, what we want to do is we want to return true. That's it. That's all we want. If it is not correct, return false. Simple. Because if it's correct, in any case, the function will just stop over here and it will never read after it. So we're gonna run through the user database. We're gonna check the usernames and we're gonna check the passwords. If the username and the password matches, it's gonna say it's true. If it doesn't matches, it's gonna say it's false. Now we're gonna feed this information that we have gotten over here into the sign-in function. And just remember that I want to keep these two separate because it creates problems. I mean, if you want to check what problems it creates, you can do it, but I'm not gonna do that. Now, in the function sign-in, all we have to do is if, and we can put the above function. If is user valid, then console.log the what were they? Yeah, status updates. Console.log status updates if the function is working. Else, if it's true. If it's false, then just give us an alert saying wrong username or password. Done. Awesome. Okay, now we have our two functions. All we need to do is call in. We need to call the sign-in function with the sign-in prompt and well, actually this was supposed to be username prompt, sorry. Variable user name prompt. Okay. I don't want to mix it up. So we have username prompt and we have a password prompt that we're gonna call. Oh, also over here, this function is user valid is coming with a username and it's coming with a not a prompt, it's coming with a password. Yep, now it all looks good. So I'm just gonna copy all of this. Control C for copy. And then I'm just gonna go to our console over here and Control V and paste. Whoa. Control V and paste all of this. Now let's run it and let's see. Let me just remember the username is Mike and password is 12345. Okay, here we go. So we enter Mike and the password is 12345. We click OK. And yep, here it is. We have our status updates. Mike saying I'm tired, Mary saying exams are over, Chris saying he's going hiking. Now, if I click over here, get this function, this whole thing again, and run it again, just to see, let's say Mike, and then for password, whatever, just write it wrong. Let's see what happens. Oh, okay, alert, a wrong username or password. So pretty neat, right? So this is how powerful looping can be. In the next video, of course, we're going to get into more detail about this, but just with some basic knowledge of JavaScript, you have already considerably improved a small test demo website that you made. Well, make sure to like and subscribe if you like the course so far and you want to, be updated every time we upload a new video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.